You know those people who are always hitting you with the, "Oh, life's not a competition, stop taking everything so seriously, da da da, stop competing so..." And then you ever notice, like, when you look at those people, they're never at like the highest stage of life, or they're just never where you want to be in your head, yet they're the ones telling you it's not a competition, stop trying so hard, all this. Like, imagine, I like to always think about like Michael Jordan, like imagine someone telling Michael Jordan like, "Oh, like, stop being so competitive, not everything's a competition." Like, the truth of the matter is, everything, especially as a male, is all about competition. And the sooner you realize this, the sooner you're going to be at the top of the game and be where you want to be. So I think the best way to get ahead of this competition and start leveling up is to first realize who you're competing with, right? Because the only way you're going to beat your competition is to know your competition. So depending on where you are in your life is going to depend on who your competition is. But let's say you're in high school right now. Your competition is the kids in your grade, right? The kids that are at the same stage that you're at, the same age and everything else. So what you got to do is you got to realize, like, yeah, sure, these guys are my friends and whatnot. I mean, the reality is, like, only 3 or 4 of them, are probably really, really your friends. Like, the rest of them are just, it's just friendship through being in the same place for 7, 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, right? So anyway, realize that that is your competition, okay? And what you need to do is you need to take note on, like, how are these guys living, right? Like, kind of look at the things they do. And for a lot of you, you're gonna kind of realize, like, man, like, all these guys do is, like, when not in school, man, they go home, they're watching TV, they're watching YouTube, Netflix, watching porn, like eating junk food, just wasting their time completely, right? And so you say to yourself, like, man, that's who I'm competing with. Like, that's all you gotta beat right now, right, to get ahead of the game. It's like that guy. So it's like, oh, like, all I gotta do to get ahead of Jimmy is just, like, eat this apple instead of eating this donut. Like, yeah, that's your competition right now, and that's who you have to beat to get one step higher. And then, of course, as you move past that level, you're gonna get new competition, right? And then that competition's gonna challenge you in a way that's gonna make you have to grow more and more, right? But recognize where you are in life, right? Not everyone's gonna be at that point, but wherever you are, admit it to yourself, right? So if you are a guy who's watching porn or just eating like crap, like, realize, like, okay, this is where I'm at, but I gotta get better than this to go to that next level, okay? And the next most important thing is to realize who you're not in competition with, because I feel like this is probably one of the biggest things that discourage people from even trying hard. Like, that guy that just, like, he just doesn't care about his body or care about anything because he's like, he gets discouraged looking at people at the top, right? You might be that kind of guy, and I'm telling you, that's not who you're competing with right now, okay? Like, imagine a really fat guy looking at, some ripped athlete, like Cristiano Ronaldo or something, right? And he's like, man, I'll never get a body like that, like, why even try? And he subconsciously rejects the idea of ever getting in shape, and it's like, man, like, the thing you gotta worry about right now is just not looking like all the other fat guys around you, right? Like, let's first start just looking good in a t-shirt before you worry about, looking like Cristiano Ronaldo. That's the kind of mindset you have to have. You have to be able to kind of kill your ego a little bit and really realize the level you're at, because that's the only way to evolve, That's what I had to do. I had to start kind of realizing my actions and the things I was doing and how that kind of kept me the same as everybody else. And then slowly but surely you start to cut out those actions, and then you see yourself progressing up the ladder. So it's really important to realize who your competition is and who your competition isn't. Alright, and also, don't get it twisted, guys. Like, I don't want you thinking, that someone's ever better than you because they're at a higher level than you. That's not the right mindset to have either, right? You just have to kind of acknowledge, like, okay, they've done the right things, more than I have so far, right? They've just kind of done it quicker or earlier or whatever. It's like whenever I see a guy driving a really, really nice sports car in my town, I'm like, I don't look at him and I'm like, man, F that guy, right? Because he's got the car I want. Like, my mindset is like, good for him. He did, whatever he's got to do to get there. He's done that so far, so good for him. I can't wait to experience that for myself. That's the kind of mindset you got to have, right? Don't be thinking these guys are better than you. Just be thinking, okay, they're just at a different level, right? But one day that's going to be your competition. So you better start gearing up while you can. Okay, and I just want to give one big note to all you watching this video right now who's like, oh, you know, the only reason he's saying, you know, competition, da da da, you know, he's covering for insecurities and all this, like, it's not that serious, have fun. Man, I'm telling you, like, one of the biggest things you're gonna realize as a man, and maybe you're young if you're saying that, but as you start to age, you're gonna realize, like, women understand the competition for men. Meaning, you're in a competition with all the other men in your age group, right? Kind of like what I talked about at the beginning of this video. The way women work, man, is they wait at that finish line, right? So whoever wins the race, that's who they're gonna choose. They're taking the winner. And you can think that's unfair, you could think whatever, but that's the game. That's the way the game works. So if you're choosing not to compete, that you're not gonna be able to get, you know, maybe the girl of your dreams, right? You're gonna kind of have to wait for those other ones, you know, if you know what I'm talking about, that, you know, it just, you're not gonna get the, you know, because the girl of your dreams, she's choosing the winner. She's choosing the one that's put in the work all this time, all these months, years, whatever it may be, to get to the top. Okay, keep that in mind. All right, girls wait at the finish line and they take the winners. So if you're thinking to yourself like, oh, this isn't a competition, or if you're not even aware of the competition you're in, take this video as a wake-up call to start doing the work now, because it's gonna hit you if you don't, and then you're gonna realize you're so far behind the competition. But start doing the work now, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.